Yes.
That back reverse side kick. Let's
We need to work on that.
let's take a look at that. Because it's one of those things where when I'm talking about it, and it's like you're not using the momentum of the legs for that side kick.
Sir.
That all I'm doing is I'm just moving my hips into position. That's all my momentum. All my momentum is the hips. And I'm immediately straight out with that kick. Just go straight. So, oh, goodbye, sir.
Yes, sir.
The point is that it's just like with our ridge hand. Think of it almost like a ridge hand with the heel of your foot.
Yes, sir.
It's almost like we're doing a punch with that kick. So it's going straight instead of a turn.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, straight line. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, definitely the ridge hand
The ridge hand example?
analogy. Yeah, that makes sense. Because I remember initially I was doing like that.
Yeah, everybody does that.
Wide,
I did that.
sweep. So,
Because it makes sense. It's like, oh, it's.
so maybe in terms of practicing, I'll put something, so I have my paw, I'll put something
Next
where I
to you.
have to get past
You
that.
have to get past that.
And then strike.
Yeah, so I'll have you stand right there. You can watch me do it. I'm going to go by punch, kick.
Yeah. See, I couldn't, there was no, your foot never went out
It
that
never
way.
goes out.
It's straight ahead.
It's straight. And so that's also going to help you with your balance because
Nice.
because as soon as I do this, it's I have
Yeah.
to spin. I'm turning, and it's like it's going to have my center of gravity a little bit over here before it comes back.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think too, it's like the confidence in knowing that you're rotating the proper amount.
Yes. You also have to. There's going to be a lot of that practice that you're here,
Right.
and that it almost becomes you're not really rotating. If you think of it as a punch, that I'm just getting my hips into position because I'm not rotating. Now I got my hips square. The rest of it is just doing the kick.
That's true. Yeah, your foot stays the same.
Yeah.
Your left foot. Yeah, so that's not moving.
Nope. There you go. And it just goes straight through. All right.
Yeah, that really is the key.
Yeah. So, hey, you can take a look. We'll start with that. Front foot comes up. Step into that punch. Lunge punch. Get that foot in position. It's just going to come straight up and then straight through. We're going to land it, and then when we do this punch, I don't want you doing this. What I want you to do is I want you to pull that back foot in. And punch. Yeah. So this is one of the things I went over. I've gone over in our beginner class, and that is we do that back punch. A good effective back punch. If you sometimes I've had students ask, how much do I turn? And the thing is, you can't turn enough because your legs are going to stop you from turning any further. So if your legs touch, that's about as far as you can turn with that punch. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And also, if you're too far back, you're not going to be able to do a good back punch. You don't want to lean over into that back punch. You want to have those feet kind of come in, and you're twisting the waist into that punch.
It's almost a cross stance.
It's almost a cross stance.
I mean,
It's
pretty
very close to
It's
a
pretty
cross
close.
stance. Yeah. And so when we do our side kick, this is going to be the other thing with our side kick, that it's an offensive side kick. And your side kick can be offensive in two ways. One is I'm approaching my target for my side kick, right? Coming in, stepping in for that kick. The other is when I'm done with my kick, instead of pulling it in, I'm landing forward.
Yes, sir.
So those are kind of the two keys that differentiate the offensive side kick from the defensive side kick.
Yes, sir.
But in this particular case, we've already come forward for that lunge punch. We're just going to do that second half where we land forward.
Yeah, it's that landing.
It's that landing forward.
Yeah.
And then you're going to feel that. You're going to feel like once we've done that land, that you are absolutely 100% prepared for that back punch.
Yeah, I see what you're saying though, like how, like it's just one movement, and again, it's like You're not even thinking about the rotation.
No.
After a while. It just
After a while,
happens.
you're not thinking about any of it. All you're thinking about is like, so what happens is like, it starts off as like, it's 4 discrete movements. It's that punch, and you reset, and then it's gonna be that next punch, you reset, and it's gonna be that kick, reset, and it's gonna be the punch. Eventually, it's all gonna kind of turn into like 8 moves.
Right.
It's like, it's the punch, it's the transition into the next punch, it's the punch, it's the transition, and then eventually, it's just gonna turn into 1 move.
Right, and that's why that intermediate step is harder, because
Yes.
you are essentially learning more steps.
You're learning more steps.
That's a good point.
And that's what I wanted this class to be about, was, like last time, we were learning the combos. We were learning how to keep our balance. We're learning how to do multiple rapid succession strikes. This time around, what I want us to do is kind of break down those combos and make them better. Okay? And so part of this is also kind of helping you. So I'm giving you guys some little tools so that when we learn our next combo, you go, oh, can I apply these same lessons to our next combo?
Yes, sir.
Sure.
But really, the only way you can do it is just to keep doing it over and over and over. And you're going to start to feel different. You're going to start to feel that smoothness. You're going to start to feel a lot of it kind of go away.
I have noticed with that sidekick, it's starting to feel a lot more
Yeah.
natural.
It's going to feel real.
Initially, couldn't have been more awkward.
No.
Now it's like, okay, I got this.
And this combo is always like one of those ones where everybody thinks it's weird that I push it so hard.
I get it, because it's like a foundational
Yeah.
combo, really.
It's one of those ones where the rest of the combos after this start to kind of have this momentum of turning.
Right. Keep forgetting to email you. I want to get the list of those.
Oh, yes.
At 19. Because I always forget
Oh, yeah.
those middle ones.
Middle ones.
They're all so similar.
Yeah. Okay. Let's rewind a little bit.
Sir.
We're gonna do the combo that we do in the beginner class.
Sir.
Okay.
Sure.
And this one is front hand back fist, front leg side kick, and then our backhand Richie. What I want you to do for the next 3 or 4 minutes is try to figure out, so those 3 moves, I want you to try to figure out what are those 2 moves in between.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Kind of breaks this down a little bit, and there may be more than just 2 moves in between.
I was going to ask you about this one because I like practicing this one at home, and I always want to, when I'm doing that first back fist,
Yeah.
I always want to like turn away and then,
Oh!
you know what I mean? Like wind up and then do it. Like for the first movement. Like I always find myself doing that to kind of get a little bit more.
That's a good, oh man. we don't
But I
have to
didn't
think
know if
about
that was like a good
So-
idea.
Part of this is, you're not gonna pull back and then throw.
Okay.
So we're not throwing this one forward.
Yeah, I think that's what I was doing. I was like, I'm not so sure about that.
Hold this. Just hold it straight out. Back this way. So when you're doing this one, turn is the power actually comes from me, not from me throwing it forward. Power actually comes from me turning away.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, you are going to get a lot of power by coming back and then turning into it.
Right.
You're going to get a lot of power. But also, if you were to see me do this,
Yeah.
as opposed to that.
So it's more of like a surprise.
Yeah, it's more of a
attack.
surprise.
Okay.
And the thing is, this thing's got a lot of give, and your face doesn't have that much give.
That's true. Yeah, that's gonna really hurt your face.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just the speed, it's also, yeah, this is a huge tell
Yeah.
that I'm winding up to do something.
A lot of our stuff's like that, where it's just like, oh, it's for points, but also it's like, if you're just like getting your right stance, and then just, you're body, but then the other part is you're reaching out with that hand. It's not gonna feel good at first, but it's so, yes.
Yeah, it's like that. Getting that, almost like a wrist slap in there.
Once you get there, once you get there, nice, good, hard. So, the part that I want you to think about with that one is that it's a whip motion. So it's that energy's coming up from that turn into that strike. So, yeah. You felt my first one where it's like I didn't do anything. It's like I stopped.
Right.
And then as I'm getting that whip going, you can kind of start to feel there's a lot more energy in it.
And it seems like the lack of tension too.
Yeah.
Initially.
Initially.
Is gonna
And
help
then-
get that.
That's what gets it out there is that
That's so
looseness.
hard.
Yeah. I know I talk about that a lot.
Yeah. But it's really, because you can feel the difference.
You can feel the difference.
It's very, very different.
All right. Okay. So, so there's that. Start to think about it. Like, there's that move where it's like at the beginning of this one, before anything happens, this would be our first move. Is going to be those hips. Those hips are turning, then that strike. But now my next move is to get ready for that side kick. So we're transitioning from that back fist, and as that fist is coming in, we're already transitioning into the side kick. And once that foot comes down, you should be setting yourself up for that backward. Yeah, and then eventually this will all become like one smoothed out move.
Yes, sir.
It just takes a lot of practice. But yeah, once you kind of start to feel that side kick, once that side kick is just coming back, you're already, it's no longer just a side kick plant strike. It's going to be a side kick. And as I'm landing, I'm already going to that strike.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
All right, King.
Thanks.
Take a short break.
Yes, sir.